Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the show Rundown. I'm JJ Marshall alongside Gavin Ali. Since you guys all like the last episode, you're probably wondering what today's episode's about. I'll let Gavin explain that one.
Well, today we're gonna take a good look into the amazing world of Gumball. So, JJ, have you watched the amazing world of Gumball?
Of course I have. I used to watch that show a lot when I was younger.
Interesting. My experience with the show is that I binged it during quarantine.
Really?
Yeah. So definitely the premise is interesting about Gumball. Am I right?
Yeah, it is. I remember I used to get home from school every day, put on Cartoon Network, and watch the show.
Yeah, for those of whom that may not know, The Amazing World of Gumball takes Gumball Watterson, which is a blue cat, a teenager blue cat to be specific, living in the world in his town Elmore alongside his adopted fish brother and his family and friends. The show basically explains the world. If you feel like you need to add anything on to that.
Nah, not really.
All right.
I mean, it's a great show. You know, there's a lot of memories attached with it, a lot of nostalgia.
Yeah, definitely. Nostalgia factor could be what brings you, but it's definitely interesting, especially with how they, like a normal episode, how it's usually taking one small thing, bringing it to the extreme, and developing our characters more.
So that's how you would describe like a typical episode of the show?
Yeah. What are some of your favorite episodes of the show?
I like the DVD and the hug. Those are like two of my favorite episodes.
I could see that. For me, I'm more of a continuity person, which reminds me the arcs. There's technically two arcs. There's the whole season 1 to season 3 arc about the relationship between Gumball and Penny,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
And then there's I forgot. Do you know? Do you remember? There we go. The Rob arc.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, I feel like first we'll talk on to the relationship arc. It's basically your stereotypical child crushing on a girl and doing wacky shenanigans to be in a relationship, and it's definitely something that's present in a lot of cartoons, a lot of cartoon media, but I think they take it to another level by actually developing the characters.
Oh, yeah, I agree with that. And then you want to talk about the Rob arc at all?
Yes. Yeah, honestly, Rob is my personal favorite character.
That's the one with the remote, right?
Yeah, the remote. Yeah, the one of my two favorite episodes, the disaster in the rerun.
I remember those ones, actually.
Yeah, I love how, like, the arc basically, it's kind of realizing that the world around them doesn't exist. So in order to explain what the arc's about, we got to explain who Rob is. And Rob is a mistake to the world of Gumball. So he gets put into the void. And the arc starts with the episode The Void, where Rob actually where basically Gumball and Darwin trying to get someone else out of the void, but Rob ends up going in there for himself and gets out. And then especially with the Nemesis, it starts building onto the factor where Rob actually becomes a villain of the show. That's mainly present in the end of season 3 along with season 4. And the finale of season 4 is definitely the peak of that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So, speaking of the seasons, how would you personally rank each season?
I may actually have a controversial opinions on the seasons. It's I'm gonna be honest. I find the last two seasons, I find it lower than the other two, but they're still great seasons. I actually have season 1 in the middle because there's some charm to that season that I feel like isn't captured in any other season. Though even I have to admit that season 2 and season 4 are they're peak Gumball, with constant bangers like the disaster, the game, probably some other episode I'm missing of, but the origins, right? Yeah, that's also a good 2-parter. Yeah, and I feel like that Gumball's a really good quality show with constant good seasons and constant good episodes. Of course, there's a dud or two in there, but it's still good.
No, yeah, I would agree with that. So after the commercial break, we're gonna compare The Amazing World of Gumball to a regular show.
All right, we are back, and we are going to talk about comparing the Gumball and a show like Gumball. So I think a good comparison to Gumball is the regular show, which came out at the exact same time.
Oh yeah, I would agree with that. There's definitely some similarities, some differences. You want to get into the similarities and differences?
Yeah, they definitely. Well, for one, they're both Cartoon Network shows, and two, they definitely focus on that, taking one thing and making it major quality. However, the differences are, regular show more or less focuses on the idea, while Gumball more or less focuses on the characters, if that makes sense to you.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
All right.
So for our last segment, we're gonna be reviewing the show.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Would you recommend Amazing World of Gumball?
Definitely, it has great comedy, great pacing. It'll overall give you a good laugh, and you'll actually feel like this world is real.
So, who would you recommend this show to? So, Gavin, who would you recommend this show to?
I would definitely recommend the show to someone who's interested in cartoons, and definitely someone who wants to explore episodic adventures, and just all around have a good time.
All right. Well, I think that about wraps this up.
Yep.
Thank you for watching the show rundown, and we'll see you in the next episode.